Yes, hello and welcome to B&B's Football Happy Hour. I am Bobby with my man Brian as always.
So, man, glad to be back for episode 31.
You got it. And like he said, we are back. We are bearded. We are beautiful. And 31 episodes, 31 weeks in. I
Mm-hmm.
love it. And not too many more. I was doing some math today. I think we only have maybe 12 weeks left or something, I think. Somewhere around there. Was it 7 more for the regular season plus the playoffs?
Yeah, playoffs, and we got, I guess we'll do a Super Bowl deal, and then, uh, I don't think we're going to do like a Pro Bowl episode, but I guess we can
Nah.
talk about something. I don't know that week, but yeah, I guess we got 12, 13 weeks left, so keep it rolling before we have to start researching some more stuff about the draft. So
You got it. Hey, at least, and I mean, I think the NBA draft is tonight, which is Tuesday, I
yeah,
believe. But I was thinking, how difficult is it going to be for these guys, these NBA coaches and front office folks, to draft players that they didn't get to see any March Madness. It's been a long time since these guys have really hooped it up on a court 5-on-5 in a real game situation. I was thinking, man, that's got to be tough. At least these college players for football this coming year, most of them are getting a fairly large portion of their season in, so they get a lot of tape out there. I don't know about these NBA guys. I don't envy their position.
yeah. I mean, it'll be pretty tough. I mean, I know. Well, I guess basketball. Those guys, what? I mean, they played a majority of the season, but I mean that was forever
Right,
ago
right.
though. But yeah, like you said, he didn't get to see him in March Madness or do anything like that. So yeah, it'll be hard to pick because I mean, I think the NBA draft is usually in June, so you're looking at the end of or middle of November, so that's a 5 month swing. So yeah, I mean, who knows? These guys can be completely different, and it's going to be tough. And I mean, even with college football, I mean, with the limited schedule, we don't get like the I don't know, like the Joe Burrow, like the guy. I mean, I guess they're going to play 8 games, but still, I
No,
mean,
I know.
Burrow dominated like the whole year. You know what I mean? Like I don't know. Some guys might be missing out on those opportunities, and I know a lot of guys opted out. So I mean, how are NFL GMs gonna? I mean, those guys are obviously still going to get drafted, but it's still going to be tough. I mean,
It's got to hurt them. It's
I'm
got to
sure
hurt.
they're going to think about it. I mean, you got guys that think they're surefire first round picks, and they opted out, and they haven't played football since 2019, and
If I'm a GM, that's tough for me to pull that trigger.
yeah, I mean, it's going to be tough. I mean, I'm sure there's definitely going to be some tough conversations to be had, and I mean, those guys, I guess, are going to have to bring it to the combine, and I mean, I'm sure those GMs are probably going to be grilling those certain players in those interviews, probably about why they felt like they needed to opt out or whatnot. So I guess they'll have to come up with something pretty good there. So it's going to be difficult all around, I think.
Yeah, well, another thing that was difficult this past week was just finding points, fantasy points for your squads out there. This was a tough week. And oddly enough, it was one of my best weeks of the year. I'm not
Yeah.
sure how I pulled that off, but 11 different quarterbacks threw for less than 200 yards. And I think another 3 or 4 were at like 2-0 or 210 or less, or between 200 and 210. And last week, there were only 3 quarterbacks that threw for under 200 yards. 11 this week and 3 last week. And when I say 11, I'm counting Drew Brees and Jameis Winston. That's the Saints quarterback. Those guys combined still did not throw over 200. So a rough week, especially at the quarterback position. And
Mm-hmm.
I brought up last week that some running backs just aren't cut out to be the lead dog. And it proved to be true because Duke Johnson, who we'll talk about in a little bit, did not do very well given
Yeah.
that opportunity to tote the rock for the Texans. However, Kareem Hunt and Chase Edmonds, they both performed much better and much more efficiently when they get their whenever they're the complementary back. So Nick Chubb comes back for the Browns, Kareem Hunt goes off for over 100 yards. Kenyon Drake comes back, and Chase Edmond is much more efficient. So just interesting how that works out. And then there are some guys, we're going to bring up my man Jonathan Taylor. I think it's the coach's fault. So if you think about every running back is different. Like we said, some guys, Nick Chubb for the Browns, he can be the lead back. He's good to go. Kareem Hunt cannot. Some backs like Derrick Henry, and I'm not comparing Derrick Henry to Jonathan Taylor, so don't put that on me. However, Derrick Henry is a rhythm running back. If you're watching a game, Brian, is Derrick Henry better in the first quarter or the fourth quarter?
Yeah, I mean he's usually a late game closer to me. So
Exactly, because he's got 18 carries under his belt. He's got 22 carries under his belt, and he's able to get in that rhythm. In college, Jonathan Taylor averaged 23 carries a game his senior year at Wisconsin. You can't give a rhythm runner like Jonathan Taylor 2 carries in the first series, none in the second, 1 carry in the third series, none in the fourth, 2 in the fifth series. He's not going to be able to find that rhythm. He's not going to be successful. So that's something that coaches, I think, need to figure out as well. When you have a guy that's used to getting the ball that many times a game, maybe that's why he's so good. Not the fact that it's a volume type deal, but that volume gives him a chance to get in the rhythm, to see the field better, to I don't know, get warmed up and put so they can better evade tacklers. Whatever the case is, I think Jonathan Taylor needs to be used far more often and not taken off the field so much. I think it's a coaching error.
that's a good point because I mean I'm getting pretty disappointed with old JT. Man, I had high expectations for him, and he's just not doing much. But like you said, I mean, yeah, I think he does need to be in there more. They just got to keep feeding him the rock. And I mean, this past week he gets 7 carries. I mean, that's definitely not enough. I mean, it's just, I don't know. They might be losing a little faith in him, but he might be one of those guys that maybe needs. I know it's kind of weird to say, but I mean, I don't know. He might, play out a few years with Indy, and then once he gets to that second team, he'll really take off because at this rate, I don't think he's going to do much for the Colts at this pace.
And look, we mentioned Chase Edmonds. Chase Edmonds can do something with 7 carries. That's
Mm-hmm.
his kind of game. He's not going to do very well with 27 carries. However, Jonathan Taylor is completely the opposite. I mean, everybody's different. You just got to find out the strengths of your players and play to them rather than just hope that they can be successful with what you're giving them.
Yeah, Frank Reich's going to have to figure that one out. So hopefully, I don't know, maybe in the offseason he'll figure it out. Maybe he'll get it figured out by the end of the year. But he needs to do something different with JT because
we just have to tag him. We just have to tag him in this episode so he can listen to old B&B's Football Happy Hour, and then he'll know what's going on.
He should, man. He should. We should have him come on and ask him why he doesn't. Why does JT not get at least 10 carries? I mean, come on. But it doesn't help. Brian. It also doesn't help when you got another guy that's performing well. So I mean, that's all, I guess, in the mix as well.
Well, we've been touching on the Colts here. Let's turn back the clock to last Thursday and go over this Colts-Titans game. And what was, I think, somewhat of an upset. The Colts really doubling up the Titans, 34-17. Phillip Rivers topped 300 yards for the third time this season with 308, only 1 touchdown. And Nyheim Hines is leading the way again in that Colts backfield. 12 carries, 70 yards, and a touchdown, plus another 5 catches for 45 and a touch. He has 3 games this year with multiple touchdowns and 0 touchdowns in all the other games. So if Hines is going to do it, he's going to do it. Michael Pittman, rookie, son of Michael Pittman. This is Michael Pittman Jr., former running back for the Buccaneers, who I used to love to watch because he was mean and nasty and loved contact, would never step out of bounds early. But he might be the top receiver now in Indianapolis. He had 7 catches for 101, and that's his second week in a row with at least 7 targets. And that's it. You mentioned JT had 7 carries. So, I mean, there's really not much to talk about with the rest of the Colts players. The Titans, on the other hand, Ryan Tannehill struggled mightily against that defense. The Colts have a great defense this season. Only 147 passing yards and 1 passing touchdown. Derrick Henry got you 106 rushing yards. A.J. Brown, only 1 catch for 21 yards, but he dropped what would have been a 70-plus yard touchdown. He doesn't do that often. I think he dropped another big pass later on in the game as well. Oh, gosh. Corey Davis led the team, 5 catches, 67 yards. Again, when you only throw for 147 yards, you're not going to have too many receivers blown up. Jonnu Smith only had 2 catches for 14 yards, but he did get a rushing touchdown, which really ticked off Derrick Henry owners, obviously. It was only from the 1-yard line. However, Ryan Tannehill did miss Jonnu Smith a couple times, wide open. Could have had a much, much bigger day. Very frustrating.
Yeah, this is an Interesting game. I mean, I think the Colts kind of put it all together this game. I mean, this could probably the team I expected to see throughout the whole year, really. I mean, they look pretty good. And like you said, I mean, Michael Pittman, just another, he looks like that was kind of like his coming out party, I guess. That was kind of the first time I watched him in length, and he looked pretty good to me. I mean, he's another stud rookie receiver you can add to the list of guys that are just killing it
A
this
lot
year.
of them.
Yeah, you can throw his name right in that mix now. And Naeem Hines, like you said, I mean, to me, if you have to start anybody from the Colts, I mean, I guess I'm rolling with him because I don't know if I can trust JT.
Or
Jordan,
Jordan Wilkins. Yeah.
yeah, Jordan Wilkins had a good game last week, I think it was, and then this week he went 8 for 28. So you're not really playing him in any kind of your. If you're starting him in your fantasy leagues, you're hurting. And like you said, man, AJ Brown, I think he caught that 21-yard pass. I think was like the first or second play of the game.
I believe so.
I think it was like the second play of the game, and then he dropped that, I don't know, 75-yard touchdown, and he had another drop. So, yeah, that was a tough game for him. I know I have him in one of my leagues, so he didn't really do a whole lot for me, but it's all good. I think he'll bounce back.
Oh yeah, for sure.
He'll bounce back. But, yeah, this is a good game for the Colts. I mean, to double up the Titans, who are, I mean, some people think are one of the top-tier teams, I guess, in the AFC.
Oh, I don't know about that.
I mean, they got to be in the top 5 in the AFC, I guess people would imagine, but I don't know. Colts look pretty good, man. I don't know. I guess they're back on some people's radars this coming week.
They'll be, as long as Rivers doesn't turn it over, they'll be just fine.
Yeah.
And we'll keep it in the AFC. We'll do the Houston Texans and the Cleveland Browns. The weather for this one was atrocious. There was a 37-minute weather delay. It was raining. It was unbelievably windy. It was very ugly. The Texans, and obviously that played a factor in the game because the Texans had a total of 243 yards. Not rushing, not passing, total. Deshaun Watson, obviously not a good day, 163-1. He didn't really save you rushing either, only had 36 yards on the ground. Again, we talked about Duke Johnson. He only had 54 yards rushing and 0 catches. How does he have 0 catches? That's supposed to be what he does, what one thing he brings to the table. And if you have terrible wind and weather, you should be and you're throwing the ball, they should be short passes that Duke Johnson should be the recipient of those. Randall Cobb, Brandon Cooks, Will Fuller, they all had between 3 to 6 catches and 38 to 41 yards. So, boo. That's not helping out anybody. Cleveland Browns, on the other hand, Mayfield, 132 yards passing, no touchdowns. Okay, that's the theme this week. However, Nick Chubb, first game back from injury, 19 carries for 126 yards and a touchdown. Welcome back, Mr. Chubb. I really wish he would get more involved in the passing game. I know that's Kareem Hunt's deal, but boy, would he just be an absolute fantasy monster if they would throw him the ball. And I'm sure people saw the last play of the game, and I hate it for numerous reasons. So Nick Chubb breaks a 59-yard run at the end of the game. The Browns are up 10-7 in a real exciting game to watch. And instead of scoring the touchdown, he steps out of bounds at the 1. Well, okay. First off, if you score the touchdown, your team goes up 10. It is impossible for a team to score a 10-point play. So if you go in the end zone, your team is going to win no matter what. However, let's say you want to do the noble thing and not go in the end zone. You stepped out of bounds and it stopped the clock. If you're going to do it, take a knee inbounds so the clock continues to run. He couldn't even screw up my fantasy day the right way. Yeah. He stepped out of bounds. It made absolutely 0 sense. But like we said, Kareem Hunt played better. He had 19 carries for 106, 3 catches for 28 yards receiving, but that was it as far as catching the ball goes. No one had more than 48 yards receiving for the Browns.
Yeah, I mean, to me, this game played right into the Browns' favor. I mean, with that weather going on, they just pound the ball, and that's what they did against the Texans, and they came out with a win. I mean, shoot, not much to say about the Texans. Like you said, some of those stats are pretty meager on their side. So, I mean, not much going on. Baker Mayfield, I thought, didn't really do a whole lot. I mean, he didn't have to. He was handing the ball off 40 times. So, I don't know. He was kind of playing game manager this week, I guess, so he didn't really make any mistakes. I guess their number one receiver now is Rashard Higgins, so we'll see how that goes. I know they play the Eagles this week, so I'm sure Baker will probably throw for like 350 this week, so he'll get back on track. But yeah, I mean, Chubb coming back off of the knee injury looked like nothing was wrong there. And like you said, that last play of the game where he ran out of bounds was one of the more
What an idiot.
idiotic things I've seen. Yeah, I mean, if you're going to do it, at least fall down at like the 3-yard line or something like that and keep the clock running. And I mean, if you run out of bounds or you score a touchdown, the clock's stopping on both. And like you said, last time I checked, there isn't a 10-point play in football. So I would just
Not that I know of.
stuff it in the end zone and pad your stats, make up for some lost time, and go about your business. So I don't know. I'm a Chubb owner. I mean, look, another touchdown would have been nice, but I mean, luckily I won those matchups this week, because if not, I probably would be pretty upset with him, but I'll let this one slide.
The one league that I have Chubb in, I ended up winning by 0.52 points.
Mm-hmm.
So,
well, if he scores, then you don't have to sweat it out.
Yeah, you're right.
You're up 6.5. Yeah.
Came to Monday night too. The guy I was playing had Dalvin Cook, and I had Justin Jefferson.
Yeah, and that's
It was a battle.
Yeah, that's a sweat. You got to sweat that one out. I mean, he stuffs it in the end zone. You're looking pretty good. And
relaxed for sure.
You're not glued to the TV on that one.
All right, so we'll move on to the Washington Redskins and the Detroit Lions, which ended up coming down to the wire, decided by a field goal. And the Lions actually found a way to win rather than lose. That's kind of their deal. So good job for you, Detroit, even though you did find a way to win against Atlanta. But I don't know that counts because it's Atlanta. Washington had a whopping 83 plays. The Lions only had 55. The football team had almost 30 more plays than the Lions, and the Lions were still able to win. I think that's a great stat for the Lions to look at and say, look, I mean, we got it done when we were way overmatched in the amount of plays run by the offense. So good for them. Alex Smith threw for a ton of yards, 390. I think those are most in the league last week, but 0 TDs. That has to be a record. I mean, has anyone ever thrown for 400 yards with no touchdowns? That's very difficult to do.
I think it was his career high too.
He only throws the ball 6 feet downfield.
Yeah,
and
6.
His receivers at the front with it. But Antonio Gibson, he kind of blew up a little bit simply because he found the end zone not once but twice. He only got 45 yards rushing and another 4 catches for 20 yards. I don't understand why Washington doesn't throw the ball to Gibson more. I don't know why J.D. McKissick, who has 8 carries for 6 yards, he did get a touchdown, but why does he have 7 catches for 43 yards? Why do they target him? Why does he get double-digit targets every week when Antonio Gibson was a wide receiver in college? That's what he did, was catch the ball. So I don't know why they don't throw him the ball more. It makes no sense to me. And Terry McLaurin, he is a lock for 7 catches and 90-plus yards every week. And speaking of that, he has had at least 7 targets every single week and at least 7 catches in all but 3 games this year. So he really is a lock to get you some points. And Logan Thomas, tight end, got you 4 catches for 66 yards, which 4 catches for 66 yards, he was like a top 6. I think he was 6th overall tight end this week. That's how terrible the tight end position is.
That's pretty
4
rough.
catches, 66 yards, and you are a top 10 player at your position. Oh, gosh, tight end is woeful.
Yeah, teach your kids to be a tight end, I guess, if they're playing youth football.
Yeah.
For sure. But, yeah, man, Alex Smith, like you said, I mean, I watched a little bit of this game, and this guy doesn't throw the ball more than 5 yards. He's a big yak guy. These guys are getting all the yards after the catch. I mean, that's how he gets all his yards. But yeah, I mean, McLaurin is a must start every week. I mean, he's a lock, like you said, for 15, or I mean, if you're playing a PPR, 7 for 90 is going to get you 16 points. So you'll take that every week.
I don't like the Redskins. I don't like Ohio State, which is where McLaurin went. But I love Terry McLaurin. He's so good,
man.
So good. Now,
go ahead. I was going to say, I mean, just McKissick. I mean, doesn't make any sense to me either. I don't know why Antonio Gibson just can't get those 7 catches, but I I don't know, man. Last couple of weeks, he's getting double-digit targets, and he's getting, 7 for 43, which, I mean, right there is going to get you 11.3 in a PPR. So, I mean,
we're talking a 30-point game for Antonio Gibson.
yeah. I mean, if Antonio Gibson's getting that, I mean, he would be a top 5 running back if he's getting the
Yep.
combination of all those stats. I mean, and McKissick, I think he dropped the touchdown I saw, and then Alex Smith missed him when he was wide open in the end zone. So this dude could have had another. I mean, he could have had 2. He could have had 9 for whatever and 2 touchdowns. I mean, that would have been nuts. But
And he's a flex play in PPRs.
oh yeah, for sure, yeah.
Their PPR league, you got J.D. McKissick.
He's going to get you double digits. I mean, if he's getting 12, 13 targets, I mean, he's going to get at least 6 or 7 catches because it's not like he's running the ball or he's not running like a 20-yard route. I mean,
right.
You're going to complete the pass at least because it's going to be 3 yards away from Alex Smith. So
And,
it is what it is. Good for Alex Smith for coming back, and I guess
Yeah.
he'll probably win comeback player of the year. So good for him.
We'll see. Matt Stafford, he did well, even getting injured. He threw for 276 and 3 touchdowns. Finally, your boy Swift was the starter at running back, and he actually got a starter's amount of work back there. 16 carries, 81 yards rushing. AP, Adrian Peterson, only had 4 carries.
Yeah.
Plus, Mr. Swift went 5 catches for 68 yards and a touchdown where he kind of trucked somebody to get in the end zone. It was nice looking. So it's about time, Matt Patricia, that you realize what you got back there and give the ball to old Mr. Swift and not old man Peterson and broken down Kerryon Johnson.
Yeah.
Kenny Golladay was out again, so Marvin Jones goes 8 for 96 and a touchdown. Last week, didn't he have 3 catches for 29 yards or something? But he got a touchdown last week too.
Yeah.
Marvin Jones is so all over the map. You just have no idea what you're going to get with him if Galladay's in, if Galladay's out. I don't know. I mean, it's very difficult to predict how Marvin Jones is going to perform week to week.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, those guys are tough. It's just another one of those other mysteries of guys. You never know who's going to do it. I don't know in the given week, but like you said, DeAndre Swift, man, he's. I guess it took Matt Patricia long enough. I mean, what is this, week 10? So, I guess it finally took him a few months to figure that DeAndre Swift has some skill and he's better than Adrian Peterson. So, moving forward, I better see Swift. You better see games like this. I better not next week. Adrian Peterson better not have 15 carries or something ridiculous. So I keep giving it to Swift and rolling with the young guy.
Well, I just traded for DeAndre Swift in the league, so I'm sure he's going to be absolutely awful from here on out. So
yeah, he might have jinxed it. Yeah, he might.
24 carries for 87 yards and 2 touchdowns next week. Adrian Peterson.
Yeah, if you're in the football league, pick up Adrian Peterson. He's going to go off this week.
That's right. Next, on to your second favorite team this year, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, take on the Carolina Panthers and
another double up.
Put a whooping on them. 43-26, I believe, was the final score. The total yards, get this, 544 to 187. Yikes. 30 first downs for the Buccaneers, 13 first downs for the Panthers. That is not going to win you very many games in the NFL. Now, of course, if you played the Chicago Bears, it probably would, but not the Bucs. So the Buccaneers didn't even punt.
Yeah.
They didn't even punt all game, not one punt. Brady went for 341 yards and 3 touchdowns, plus he got you a rushing touchdown. He was, I believe, the highest scoring quarterback for the week. Ronald Jones fumbled yet again, so he is definitely out. He's not going to play anymore, and it's Fournette's backfield. Wait a minute. They keep Ronald Jones in the game. I have no idea why. He gets 23 carries for 192 yards and a touchdown versus Leonard Fournette's 8 carries for 19 yards. I have no idea why Ronald Jones stays in there. One of his touchdowns was a 98-yard touchdown run. I have no idea what's going on there. Every time I think, all right, this is Ronald Jones' backfield, Leonard Fournette blows up. And then I think, all right, well, Fournette's taking the reins here. Nope. Here goes RJ. Whatever. Godwin, he seems good to go from taking a couple injuries. He went 6 for 92. Mike Evans went 6 for 77. He got a touchdown, almost another touchdown, but Brady's missing some guys. He's missing a lot of throws he normally makes, and Mike Evans in the end zone was one. He missed Gronk in the end zone as well later on in the game. Antonio Brown, 7 catches for 69 yards. I'd like to say you need to start him, but by the time this weekend rolls around, he might be out of the NFL yet again. If you didn't hear, he's breaking security cameras and throwing bicycles or something in Tom Brady's neighborhood. I don't know what is up with this dude. Because also, if you didn't know, Antonio Brown is living with Tom Brady, or supposedly living with Tom Brady during this time. I don't want that dude around my kids. I don't want that dude around my wife. I don't want that dude around me. So, but I don't know. Hopefully it works out for them, but don't be surprised if AB is facing more league discipline. Gronk only had 2 catches, but they did go for 55 yards, and one of them was a touchdown. Should have been 2. Teddy Bridgewater, 136 yards, 2 touchdowns. He did have 16 yards rushing and a touch. Mike Davis, only 7 carries, 32 yards, 12 yards receiving. Yuck, you wanted more out of that, or out of him, since Christian McCaffrey sat. And Curtis Samuel has been doing pretty good things lately, but nope, not this week. 4 yards rushing, and that was it. 3 catches for 8 yards or something. DJ Moore, 4 for 96 and a touchdown. He broke a long one, short pass that he was able to rip for like 40 yards, I think, to find the end zone. And Robbie Anderson, 4 catches, 21 yards.
Yeah, I mean, Buccaneers bounced back from that butt whooping they got last week. So Brady put it together this week. And like you said, he did miss a few guys. Could have had – I mean, he probably could have ended up with 5 touchdowns this week, but he missed Gronk and he missed Evans, I think, on a pretty easy throw that he usually makes. But I don't know, man. Panthers are a scrappy team, but I don't know. Without McCaffrey, like you said, Davis kind of disappointment this week. And I think McCaffrey's out. I think he's going to be out again this week. So
probably
we're going to have to roll with another Mike Davis week, I guess, if you have him. Bridgewater might be out. I don't know. I know his injury. I think he hurt his knee, but I don't think it was anything major. But
day to day, they said. I just checked.
Yeah, he might be out. So you might be rolling with the old XFL star Philip Walker. So we'll see how that plays out. But I don't know, man. To me, the Bucks, I mean, they got to be one of the more complete teams than me in the NFC, man. They can play offense and they can play some defense. Well, that's the thing. Sure. I mean, when you look at it, when I was thinking about it, it's like,
and they have a run game.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, that stuff wins in the playoffs. You know what I mean? Like, they can run the ball with Fournette, and you can run the ball with Ronald Jones. I mean, I know he coughs the ball up a lot, but still, you got 2 guys that are capable back there, and they can play some defense. I mean, look, I don't know. When you look at the Seahawks, I mean, that defense is atrocious. We talked about that last week. I mean, the Packers' defense doesn't excite anyone, so it's just like, I don't know, man, to me. And then the Saints, I mean, I don't know. The Saints are kind of the Bucks' kryptonite, really, at this point, but
now, I don't know if you know this too, but the Buccaneers have a quarterback who has played in some meaningful games in his career before.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So to me, I think they're the most complete team in the NFC. I mean, I'm not going to say they're going to win the Super Bowl, but if I'm a Bucks fan, I like my chances rolling into the playoffs with old Brady back there and a running game and a good defense. I think that stuff carries into the playoffs. And
tough to bet against them.
Yeah, it'd be tough to pick against them in the playoffs, man.
I'd like to know what the odds are in the NFC. Who Vegas thinks is going to be it.
I'm sure they're in the top 2 or 3. I would imagine.
I'm sure. Now, one of the worst games to watch: the Eagles and the Giants. Somehow, I think before that game was played, the Eagles were 4.5-point road favorites. I've watched every game the Eagles played this year, and I wouldn't make them 4.5-point home favorites against Temple, the college team that's in Philly. They're not good. No passing touchdowns by either quarterback. Okay, so the quarterbacks were bad. You got no passing touchdowns from either one. But they weren't bad enough because you started Philly's defense and the Giants' defense, because Carson Wentz and Daniel Jones, they do everything they can to just hand the ball to the other team. Here, please take the ball 2, 3, 4 times a game. Neither one of them had a turnover. I mean, it was like, gosh, if you're going to be bad, you might as well be real bad so that my defense that I played can give me some fantasy points. But nope, didn't happen. The Eagles were 0 for 9 on 3rd down. You can't win a football game doing that. Wentz had a whopping 208 yards passing. And I don't think anyone in the NFL misses more open receivers than he does. And every time he has this dumb look on his face after it throws, like he doesn't know what happened. But it happens 17 times a game. And the camera just goes right to his face, and he's staring through his face mask like a moron. I don't get it. Now, one thing I will say is Miles Sanders came back, and he looked very, very good. 85 yards on 15 carries. He should have had 30 carries with the way he was looking, making guys miss, breaking tackles, getting good yards after contact. The lone bright spot on the Eagles team. However, he did drop at least 2 passes he should have caught, so we got to work that out with him. Of course, Boston Scott and Corey Clement scored touchdowns, so that really helped us out, Miles Sanders owners. I know we both have Miles Sanders in at least one league. Richard Rodgers, he led the team with 4 catches and 60 yards. Nope, not Dallas Goedert. Richard Rodgers. And no receiver, not even Travis Fulgham, was viable for this one. The Giants, Daniel Jones, 244. He did give you 64 yards rushing and a touchdown, but if you started Daniel Jones, I feel bad for your team. Wayne Gallman only had 53 yards rushing, but he had found the end zone twice on my bench because I'm not playing Wayne Gallman against the Eagles, but of course, finds the end zone 2 separate occasions. Darius Slayton, 5 for 93, and Sterling Shepard gives a very Sterling Shepard line, 6 catches, but only 47 yards.
Yeah, this is a tough game to watch as an Eagles fan. Carson Wentz stinks. They need to get rid of him. I'm saying it right now. He's gone. Needs to go. Jalen Hurts needs to go in there.
I tried to say Hurts was going to come in at halftime.
I thought he might, but I don't know, man. Peterson. And to me, the Eagles, like, I mean, we kind of talked about this on Sunday. I mean, to me, they just have no rhythm on offense or defense to me. I mean, so they get a sack on the first play of the game, their defense. And then after that, you kind of just sit back, play zone, and just let the Giants walk down the field and score a touchdown. Makes no sense. Miles Sanders is averaging 6 and 7 yards a carry, and he only gets 15 carries. I mean, look, Miles Sanders should have had 140 yards and 2 touchdowns in this game. You know what I'm saying? I mean, he would have ripped off – he would have had the same – I mean, if Boston Scott can score that 56-yard touchdown, Miles Sanders would have did the exact same thing.
He's legitimately the only good player on offense. Even Jason Kelce at center had 2 bad shotgun snaps.
He had 2 bad shotgun snaps. He had a holding penalty. I mean, it's just – I just don't know what they're doing, man. I just don't understand it. And to me, I mean, the Giants are playing better, I guess. I mean, in the NFC East. I think the Giants probably – I think they're going to win the NFC East. I mean, I don't know what their remaining schedule looks like, but the Eagles' next 5 games are absolutely terrible. Their next 5 games is the toughest in the NFL over the next 5 games. It's like
it makes no sense for the for any team in the NFC East to make the playoffs. And if you're a fan of the team that wins the division, you're screwed because you should have a top 10 pick in the draft, but you're going to end up picking in the 20s simply because you made the playoffs.
Yeah, and Dallas Goedert's kind of been disappointing. I mean,
he's coming back from an injury, but last week I understand. This week I don't understand. You should have had something.
And all these rookie receivers that kill it. Jalen Reagor, 4 for 47. He just looks like – I mean, he was injured. I mean, he's coming off an injury, I guess, too. But I don't know. To me, he's nothing too exciting. So he just looks like another average receiver.
He also has a below-average quarterback. So
yeah, we'll see. I mean, I don't see at this point why he wouldn't. I think Hurts is going to be going in at some point because they have the Browns. I know they have the Browns, Packers, Seahawks, Saints, and I don't know, some other killer team. So I mean, they're going to be 3-10.
They're going to do something stupid and win 2 of those games, though. And it's going to make no sense. And then they're going to lose to the Washington football team.
We'll see. But
all right, moving on to a game between the Jaguars and the Packers. And this was a quote I saw that apocalyptic rain and winds are expected. That was a quote that I saw for this game. And sure enough, that weather was absolutely nasty. Basically the same weather they had in Cleveland. Luton, the 6th-round rookie quarterback for the Jaguars, another guy under 200 passing yards. At least he got a touchdown, though. James Robinson was the only guy with a carry for the Jacksonville Jaguars, and he had 23 of them for 109 yards. Only 6 guys caught a pass. DJ Chark, Chris Conley, and Keelan Cole, they were each had between 4 and 5 catches and 43 to 56 yards. So they basically were the same person, except for Keelan Cole got a touchdown, also returned a punt for a touchdown. Boy, shook the punter right out of his shoes. That poor guy didn't stand a chance. Now for the Packers, Aaron Rodgers goes 325, 2-1. He's got the same weather. He's in the same stadium on the same field. But the great ones find a way to get it done. He also had a rushing touchdown. The Aaron Jones, he only got to 46 yards rushing, but saved you kind of with 5 catches for 49 yards. I really thought this was definitely going to be an Aaron Jones game given the weather conditions. But, hey, you got Aaron Rodgers back there throwing for 300 yards no matter what the conditions are. Good for him. MVS, Marcus Valdez-Scantling, goes bonkers. Again, he averaged 37 yards a catch in this one. Only 4 catches, but 149 yards and a touchdown. Devontae Adams goes 8 catches, 66 yards and a touchdown, and you're thinking, it's kind of a letdown game. What? But I mean, it isn't. He's got 20 points, but that's what you're thinking, and that's how great Devontae Adams has been lately. That 8 for 66 and a touchdowns, not great. It's kind of a down game for him. And that's about it. Each team had the same amount of plays, same amount of first downs, but the Packers averaged 2 yards better per play, and that was a big difference in the game.
Yeah, this is another, like you said, crazy weather game. I don't remember a year where there's been so much wind and rain. I don't know. In all these games, kind of like every week there's a game every week where there's like,
we've seen snow a couple times too already.
Yeah, hurricane force winds at the games. Like, I don't understand it, but I guess just chalk it up to the 2020. But like you said, Rodgers finds a way to get it done. I mean, 300 yards, it's kind of like I don't know, he does that, in his sleep. But I don't know, man. I mean, looking at this game, to me, like we kind of talked about the Bucs a little bit. And like I was saying, I mean, the Packers. So you're going into this game, and I mean, Jake Luton's not going to beat you through the air. You have to stop James Robinson. And, I mean, he kind of just ran all over them in mine. I mean, I watched some of this game, and, I mean, he was ripping off, nice runs. They couldn't really stop him. So, I mean, shoot, man, to me, I don't know. It's one of those things like they know what they needed to stop, and they still didn't really do it. I mean, yeah, they win by 4, but, I mean, if you're a Packers fan, I think you probably thought you were going to win this game by 14 or more, especially at home. I mean –
I think the spread was double digits.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I think it was. I don't know. A win's a win, and it was an ugly win. I mean, I guess you could say the weather or whatnot, but I look at it as, I mean, look, the defense had one job. They knew they had to stop James Robinson. They couldn't really do it. I mean, I don't know. It's not – to me, I'm not excited about the Packers in the playoffs with that defense.
I hear you. Now, 2 teams you might be a little more excited for, especially after the way this game ended, is the Buffalo Bills and the Arizona Cardinals. What an ending. The Buffalo Bills are down, I think, by a field goal with less than a minute left, I believe. Josh Allen finds Stephon Diggs in the end zone for a touchdown. I believe he beat Patrick Peterson on that touchdown catch. Puts him up 4. The Cardinals get the ball with 1 second to go. Kyler Murray, while falling backward, throws a Hail Mary, and DeAndre Hopkins jumps up. 3 dudes on him, one of them being all-pro cornerback Tre'Davious White. And Hopkins still comes down with it. A Hail Mary to end the game. Absolutely incredible. Got to be the play of the year. Definitely top 3 plays of the year, no matter what happens for the rest of the season. It was unreal, and I absolutely loved it. Now, Josh Allen had 49 attempts in the game. Dude threw the ball 50 times. They didn't even – the Buffalo Bills do not run the football anymore. They might as well not even have running backs. It's just for show. It's – I don't know. It's – I guess they have to have a running back on the field at times, but they're not doing anything. He passed for 284 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 picks. Again, because Josh Allen likes to run the ball, 38 yards rushing. And he had a receiving touchdown. Josh Allen, the quarterback, had a receiving touchdown. Very strange, but hey, it works. Ask Nick Foles and the Eagles a couple years ago. They had 11 total rushes outside of Josh Allen. Cole Beasley is back, 11 catches, 109 yards, and a touchdown. Stephon Diggs, another 10 catches for him, 93 yards, and that touchdown we talked about. John Brown even went 6 for 72. But when your quarterback's throwing the ball 50 times, there's a lot of footballs to go around. And I think Brian Dable, the offensive coordinator for Buffalo, he has got to be the leading candidate for coordinator of the year. This guy's doing awesome things with the Bills offense and with a quarterback that we weren't sure where he was in terms of throwing the football at the NFL level, but he is in the running for the MVP this year. He's bringing himself back. The Cardinals, really not much to write about. Kyler Murray went 245, one in that. The only touchdown he had was a Hail Mary. He did give you 11 carries for 60 yards and 2 rushing touchdowns. He is setting records using his legs. Kenyon Drake got you 100 yards rushing. Chase Edmonds, 56 yards rushing on only 8 carries, 7 yards a carry. I'm telling you, he's good when he's not the lead guy. And DeAndre Hopkins went 7 for 127 in that touchdown, but that was it.
Yeah, it was a great game. I did watch, pretty much this whole game. I mean, that ending was awesome. It's got to be the play of the year so far. I mean, I saw the picture with Hopkins, he had the Jordan gloves on and he's catching the ball. So, I mean, that's a great picture, man. That's awesome. And Kyler Murray, to me, I mean, this kid's an absolute stud. I mean, he's working his way up, I think, in the MVP talk at this point.
He's above Russell Wilson.
Yeah, Russ is kind of losing his spot right now. I think you could either argue, Patrick Mahomes or Kyler Murray. I guess we have some more games to play. We'll figure it out. I mean, I'm sure Russ will get his votes and he'll get back into it. But I think over the last
go ahead.
I just think over the last 3 weeks, I mean, Russ, we'll get to him, but I think he's kind of playing his way out of the MVP talk. And like you said, I mean, look, Kenyon Drake's a stud. I mean, he came back and finally showed, what he could do. I mean, I don't know, maybe he needed a couple weeks off because he wasn't doing that earlier on in the year. But this guy has skill, and I don't know, he showed that. So hopefully he can keep that rolling because I know a lot of people were down on him. I know we were, but he had a good week. And man, Josh Allen, he's been putting it together too. So, nothing to, Buffalo fans. I mean, you're mad that you lost, but I mean, if you hung with one of the better offenses in the league, and nothing to hang your hat on. I mean, it's just a great game and a crazy finish. So they had the game locked up. I mean, their win percentage is probably 98% good before that play. You know what I'm saying? So, if you just take a look at it, I mean, Josh Allen led them down the field and threw that touchdown to what they thought was going to be the game winner. And then, Kyler Murray and, Kyler Murray throws a touchdown to Hopkins. So just a great game overall. I mean, an exciting game and, keeps the Cards, I guess, in check with some of those other teams in their division there. Cause that's a pretty tight race. So, good win for them.
They're leading the NFC West right now with that win.
Yeah. So
big time showdown this Thursday. The Cardinals take on the Seahawks, so that'll be an awesome game to watch. We'll get to see Kyler and Russ go at it again. This will be the second time they face each other this season. But Kyler Murray, he's on pace to, I believe, break Cam Newton's rushing touchdowns in a season record. Mm-hmm. And on the backs of his legs, is that what I would say here? But his legs are carrying him to the number one fantasy player in all of the land. He's the highest scoring quarterback, highest scoring player in general. So good for him in his sophomore campaign.
Yeah, man, looks good.
Yep. And now to talk about another one of our boys, the Chargers lost to the Dolphins. Poor Chargers. All of their losses have been one-score games. They haven't been blown out by anybody. They've been within one score every single time they've lost. And I know that they have Keenan Allen. I know they have Mike Williams. I touched on this last week. I still don't understand all of these end zone fades that they call and why they keep doing this. It's not working. The coaching at the NFL level, the highest level on planet Earth, so confusing and maddening sometimes. Herbert, 187, 2 touchdowns and a pick, but he also got you a rushing touchdown, so that helped you out big time. Kalen Ballage, who is not good yet, He's the lead ball carrier for the Chargers for some reason. 68 yards rushing, 18 carries though, so he's not very efficient. He also had 5 catches for 34. Keenan Allen only went 3 for 39, but he got you a touchdown, so that helped out. Hunter Henry found the end zone. Welcome back to fantasy relevance, Mr. Henry, 4 for 30, and his end zone look. No receiver had more than Kalen Ballage's 5 catches, and no one had more than Keenan Allen's 39 yards. This is a reoccurring theme, game after game after game. And here's Tua Tagovailoa with his monster 169 yards passing. 2 touchdowns for him. Salvon Ahmed, their rookie running back, he was indeed the lead ball carrier here, 21 carries. That's a lot of them for the Dolphins for a guy no one heard of 3 weeks ago. 85 yards, a touchdown, and as far as fantasy goes, that was it. Jakeem Grant had the most fantasy points because he got a touchdown, but besides his 4 catches and 43 yards, no one else had more than 2 catches in the game. And the weather was not a factor here, ladies and gents. This was just not great quarterback play. And look, Jakeem Grant, no one started him, so nobody really cares about that.
Yeah, this is just the Chargers theme of the year, man. They just lose close games. So
I feel so bad. I want them to be good.
Yeah,
I want Herbert to be a winner.
Yeah, I think he will be. It's just, I don't know. It's just tough. I mean, that defense isn't very good. And like you said, Anthony Lynn and whoever calls the plays over there, I mean, those guys are just, I don't know. They need to figure something out because it's just not working for what they're doing right now. But, Herbert played pretty good. I mean, he only had 83 yards in the first half. I mean, he did a lot of his work, I guess, in the second half. I did watch this game, and he did miss Mike Evans. He was pretty wide open in the end zone. He kind of overthrew it. So he should have had a better game than what he had. I mean, it's still an average game. Like you said, had the rushing touchdown, so that'll get you 6 if you're starting him in fantasy. But, man, Tua 3-0, and the Dolphins overall, man, 6-3 with their next 3 games against the Bengals, Jets, and Broncos.
Well, here's the deal.
They could be 9-3.
First off, for in the Chargers, on the Chargers' behalf, the Dolphins have a very good defense. Their defense is underrated. They were the number one. I don't know if it's still that way, but I know like 2 weeks ago I checked, they were the number 1 scoring defense in football. Are you kidding me? I had absolutely no idea. Like, only giving up, I think, 17.4 points a game or something crazy. Yeah. I didn't know. Now, here's the deal with the Chargers. This week coming up, I know their defense isn't good, but they're playing the Jets, and it's going to be a Joe Flacco-led Jets. I know that they hung with the Patriots, and they had a chance and probably should have beat the Patriots 2 weeks ago. But look, if the Chargers can't beat the winless Jets and their defense can't do something as far as fantasy goes against the winless Jets, I'm out, man. I'm out on the Chargers. As much as I want it to happen and I will it to happen every week, I can't. I gotta close the book on them. I'm still going to start Justin Herbert and Keenan Allen, but that's it.
Yeah, Herbert better go for 350 and 3 this week against the Jets because they're not good and they're probably just trying to get the first pick. So, I mean, Darnold's out, like you said, Flacco's in, and Dolphins cut Jordan Howard. So, I mean, I guess your boy Ahmed over there, I guess, is going to be the guy. I don't know. So
till Myles Gaskin comes back.
That's true. Yeah, I don't know. I guess he should be back sometime this year. So we'll see, man.
Broncos and the Las Vegas Raiders. Dude, the Broncos got their butts whooped 37-12. Drew Lock is terrible. He is not the quarterback of the future. He's not the quarterback of tomorrow. He's not the quarterback right now. Dude, he's awful. 1 touchdown, 4 picks. He was absolutely lost out there. If you watch some of that game, I mean, his throws were so errant. It's not like the defenders made good plays. I mean, he was blatantly missing receivers, and the ball was going right to defenders who shouldn't have been anywhere near the play. But, gosh, it was very, very ugly. Only 4 carries for Phillip Lindsay, 11 for Melvin Gordon. Neither one of them had a catch. And I don't understand why Phillip Lindsay is not getting more carries than Melvin Gordon. On the season, yards their yards per carry. I think Philip Lindsay's like 5.1, 5.2 yards a carry, and Melvin Gordon's down like 4 yards a carry. So, I mean, I don't know why Melvin Gordon's the lead back. Melvin Gordon, I don't. Again, another one of those baffling things that gets me with NFL coaches. I'm watching the games. I'm looking at the stats. Both of them are telling me the same thing. Philip Lindsay is more productive than Melvin Gordon, but I don't know. What do I know? Jerry Jeudy, 4 catches, 68 yards. Tim Patrick also had 4 catches for 61 yards. Could have had a bigger day, except he got in a little riffraff, a little fist fight on the field for who knows why. It's always good to see people throwing punches when another guy has helmets on. All 7 pass catchers had 2 to 4 catches, and Deshaun Hamilton just happened to be the guy to find the end zone. The Raiders, Derek Carr, guess what? Under 200 yards passing, only 154. Josh Jacobs, though, my man, 21 carries, 112 yards, and 2 TDs. He also had 4 catches for 24 yards. Yes, throw that man the football. That's what we want to see. That's what Jacobs is missing between being a top 15 back and being a top 6 back, are those catches, those out of the backfield, those extra receiving yards, and those PPR points. Now, Devontae Booker really made you upset because he decided that he was going to have 16 carries himself, 81 yards, and 2 more touchdowns. Can you imagine if Josh Jacobs has even one of those touchdowns? He's the number 1 scoring fantasy player in all of the land, I believe. Gosh, it's nice to dream about that. But I don't know, as was the case with week 8 as was the case with this week, 8 receivers caught a pass, but besides Jacobs, no one had more than 3.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, I mean, Drew Lock, I watched some of this game, and this guy is just not good at football. John Elway is definitely going to be looking for another QB. He shuffles through him pretty quick. So I think Lock's time might be up, man, because like you said, he threw 4 picks, and, I mean, he refuses to step up in the pocket. Like, when I watched the game, there's no pressure around him, and he like backpedals in the pocket and just throws the ball off his back foot, and there's nobody around him. And either the ball goes 10 yards over the guy's head or he's throwing a pick. I mean, it's just, I don't know. I mean, I don't know who their quarterback coach is, but they got to get with this kid. I mean, I don't know. He has those games where, he does decent, but I mean, I just don't think he's that good. I don't think you can count on him. Feel bad for Jerry Jeudy because this kid should be doing, I don't know, he should be putting up a lot better numbers than what he does. I mean, like you said, 4 for 68 is average, but to me, Jerry Jeudy, I mean, he's one of the best rookie receivers that came out in this class, and he's had a few good games this year. But I think Locke's kind of hurting those numbers there. And
Locke's hurt.
Yeah, he's hurt now. So I mean, shoot, I don't know. It's not going to get any better, I guess, for old Jeudy. So, man, like you said, Jacobs, another huge week. That's kind of what the Raiders do, man. They kind of just like running the ball with him, and he kind of just beats teams up, beats defenses up. And, man, I'm going to have to say another guy that I'm disappointed in, Henry Ruggs. I mean, I thought this kid was going to be a little better than what he is, and it looks like every week, I mean, this kid's got, 3 for 20, 3 for 30. I mean,
I don't know that he's had more than 2 catches in a game. I don't even think he's hit.
Yeah, I mean, this might be his biggest week at 3 for 31. Yeah. So,
yeah.
I mean, it's pretty damn disappointing. I mean, I thought he was one of the – I don't know. I thought he was one of the better ones in the draft. I was kind of hoping the Eagles were going to get him, but, well, looks like we wanted 2 of the guys. Ruggs isn't that good, and we got Rager, who looks like, I don't know, on the same level as Ruggs. So that's tough. Disappointed in him.
The Seahawks and Rams talk about an utter disappointment.
Mm-hmm.
Thought this was going to be fantasy gold, and it was not. This was, man, Russell Wilson, 248, no touchdowns, 2 picks, and he lost a fumble. These are the turnovers that are supposed to happen in the Eagles-Giants game. Good thing for DJ Dallas and Travis Homer owners that Alex, I forgot you were alive, Collins was the lead carrier for the Seahawks. Don't even know where he came from. 11 carries. I mean, no, he used to play for the Ravens, but practice squad they brought up, and here we go. 11 carries, 43 yards, and a touchdown. Best receiver was Mr. Tyler Lockett, 5 catches for 66. DK Metcalf got Jalen Ramsey 2 for 28. But I don't expect that to happen too often. DK is going to win out most of the time. Jared Goff is playing the world's worst passing defense, and he throws for less than one touchdown. 302 yards, no TDs. Was this Alex Smith? Luckily, he also lost a fumble, so that helped you out because I know he was darling for daily fantasy leagues. People were starting him left and right. Malcolm Brown only had 6 carries, but two of those went for scores. And Darrell Henderson only had 7 carries, but he got a touchdown too. You're telling me Jared Goff couldn't throw one of those in the end zone? At least help me out a little bit. But who needs Cooper Kupp and Robert Woods, who went 5 for 50 and 5 for 33 respectively, when you have Josh Reynolds went 8 for 94. This game was the worst.
Yeah, it was a tough game. I mean, to me, you can't really count on anybody on the Rams. I mean, like you said, those running backs are week by week committee. And Cooper Kupp and Robert Woods, they pretty much put up about the same numbers this week, like you said. But you just never know who's going to do it for the Rams. I mean, it's just hard to start any of those guys. And you would think, like you said, I mean, you would think Goff would light it up. I mean, the Seahawks are giving up like 375 per game in the air. I mean, he did reach 300, but, I mean, still it was – I know it wasn't his best performance. He thought he would do a lot better than that. And like we talked about earlier, I mean, to me, Russ is kind of losing some of his MVP votes. So he needs to step it up. And like you said, I mean, this week's got a huge Thursday night game, him versus Kyler. So, I mean, he's going to have to outplay Kyler in my mind to get back in that race. And Pro Bowl left tackle Andrew Whitworth, I think, tore his ACL. So that's definitely not good for the Rams. So that's definitely going to hurt Goff, I think, and it hurts the run game. So, I don't know. The Rams slide might be coming a little bit here. We'll see how they perform. But that defense is still good. I'll give them that. I mean, the Rams defense is pretty nasty. So, I don't know. Good win for the Rams. We'll see if they can keep moving forward.
They have beat your projected win total of 3 games.
They did, yeah. I mean, they did a number on the NFC East. So, I mean, we'll see. Yeah.
Now, we've had a
this was a good win.
Yeah, correct, for sure. We've had a couple weeks where we've had a lot of really close games. Well, this is the opposite because we have another team. The Bengals got smashed by the Steelers. Burrow had another 40 attempts, but he barely completed half of them at 21. He only had 213 yards and 1 touchdown. Gio Bernard, another one of those backs, he's just not meant to carry the ball a lot. Now, he's done okay with Joe Mixon out, but a lot of that damage he's done has been in the passing game or very short touchdown runs. He went 8 for 30. Samaje Perine had 7 carries, and Travion Williams had 5. So the carries were divvied out pretty evenly. Gio got you 4 catches for only 17 yards, but you'll take those 4 points of those catches. Tyler Boyd still managed 10 points in a PPR, 6 for 41. But T. Higgins, we talk about them rookie wide receivers, boy. I'm telling you, the 2 best right now might be T. Higgins and Justin Jefferson. Higgins, going against that elite Steeler defense, 7 catches for 115 and a touchdown. I am very excited to watch this dude's career. Now, coming out, I think, if I remember right, CeeDee Lamb was my number 1 receiver. Judy was my 2. I think I had Jefferson 3 and T. Higgins 4. Ruggs, very well, I was not a Ruggs guy. I thought he was a one-trick pony. Just playing at Alabama, no one's going to be able to cover you. So I think that's why he was so productive. But, man, Justin Jefferson and T. Higgins, they might be the 2 best of the bunch. Now, the Steelers, this was confusing to me as well. Even being up 22-10 at halftime, Ben Roethlisberger ended up with 46 pass attempts for 333 yards and 4 touchdowns. They only had 20 total carries, even with that big lead. I don't really get that. James Conner, big disappointment. 13 carries, 36 yards. Yuck. The top 3 receivers for Steelers, all great. Deontay Johnson, 6 for 116 and touchdown. He's basically the Antonio Brown of this offense. He's not Antonio Brown, but that's the role he is playing. Juju Smith-Schuster, 9 for 77 and a touchdown. And Chase Claypool, 4 for 56 and 2 touchdowns. He is definitely getting those looks from Big Ben in the red zone.
Yeah, this is a good game. I mean, for Big Ben, I mean, like you said, I don't know why he almost had 50 pass attempts, but stats are there, 333 and 4. I mean, holy crap, Big Ben, that was a big week, but it is the Bengals. Burrow got beat up by that defense. I think he got hit like 15 times. That was kind of like his, welcome to the NFL or welcome to the, the AFC here, buddy. So he'll be all right. But like you said, Higgins, I mean, that kid's a stud. Like you said, I think he is probably the top 2 rookie receiver. And he wasn't even a first-round pick. I mean, he got picked, first pick of the second round. So
believe so.
So, yeah, the Bengals, I think, they picked him with that first pick of the second round. So, yeah, a guy that wasn't even a first-round pick, and, I mean, he's outperforming, half of those guys that got picked in the first round. So, him and Burrow will be a good combo moving forward. But, the Bengals aren't there. Obviously, they need, defense and, they need some more offensive linemen. But, yeah, they need a lot still. So, I think they have 2 good pieces, though. And the Steelers, some people were questioning them. I mean, they're 9-0 now, I think, right? So 9-0. So, but man, some people were down on them saying, they're not that good and this and that. But
the Steelers, they haven't beat anyone.
Yeah, they just keep winning.
The Ravens, they beat the Ravens. And are the Ravens good? I'm not sure the Ravens are good. They just lost to the Patriots. And how are the Patriots 4-5? We'll get there. I'm sorry. I'm getting ahead of myself.
Yeah, it's tough, but yeah, man, I don't know. Steelers just keep finding a way to win, and this is it's not like they're playing somebody good, but they should beat the Bengals by 26, and they did. So I don't know. They're just going to keep rolling, I guess, until somebody can beat them.
So I'm a big fan of The Office, and there are certain times when I'm watching The Office when I just cringe and have to look away because Michael Scott makes me feel uncomfortable, and that is exactly how I feel watching the poor San Francisco 49ers just trying to field a team with all of these injuries they have. It is, gosh, it's unreal. I mean, no one started Nick Mullins in fantasy. Jerick McKinnon, a huge letdown, only 33 rushing yards, 13 receiving yards. Brandon Ayuk is very good. Again, another rookie receiver. When he's given his opportunities, 7 catches, 75 yards, and a touchdown. And Jordan Reed, George Kittle is out. Last week was Ross Dwelly. Jordan Reed was leading the pack this time as far as the tight ends go, 5 for 62. He did good things for you earlier in the year when Kittle missed some games. Maybe he might be a decent pickup for you if you need to stream some tight ends. Now for the Saints, Breeze and Jameis Winston, because Breeze is out. He's got 5 broken ribs, 3 on one side, 2 on the other, I believe, a collapsed lung. He's out for a while. So famous Jameis is stepping up here. So interested to see how he does in this Saints offense. But they – together 14 completions, 139 yards, but I don't know. Well, why throw the ball when you can give Taysom Hill 8 carries? Why 8 carries for Taysom Hill? Kamara, he was garbage on the ground, believe it or not, but Sir Alvin did end up with 2 touchdowns, even though he only had 15 yards rushing. Listen, the passing games where he kills you, 7 catches, 83 yards, and a touchdown. He's a monster. So 3 TDs total for Mr. Alvin Kamara. And listen to all of the remaining receiver stat lines for the Saints. This is every Steeler that caught a pass for them. Michael Thomas, 2 for 27. Deontay Harris, 4 for 24. Emmanuel Sanders, 1 for 5. Yeah. That's it. That's all. Sorry, Jared Cook owners, you got a big fat 0. And the Saints were 2 for 12 on 3rd down.
Yeah, it was a tough game to watch. I mean, Breeze, you hate to see that happen to one of the, better quarterbacks to ever play. It's a tough injury. I don't know. He said he's going to come back in a couple of weeks, but
he played through it.
Yeah, and I think he has doesn't he have he's got like a shoulder injury or something too, I think they said as well. And he had the broken ribs. I think they said it happened in the second quarter of last week. So, I mean, he was already playing hurt that he didn't even know he was hurt, I guess.
Meanwhile, Nick Foles falls down and has to get carted off the field.
Yeah.
And the results came back. There's nothing wrong with him.
Yeah. He was laying there like he had like a Dak Prescott injury and he was just fine. Like he broke his hip or something like that, he thought. But man, yeah, at least the Saints are 7-2 because the turnover machine's coming, old Winston. So yeah. We'll see what he does. And it's kind of interesting to me that, I guess you got Jameis Winston, but, the Saints, they're selling their fan base that Taysom Hill is going to take over for Drew Brees, and then you're just going to throw – I don't know. I guess you're just going to throw Winston in there. So we'll see how that plays out. But I don't know. I kind of rather would see Taysom Hill play than Jameis Winston, in my opinion. And I don't like Taysom Hill, but I don't know.
At least
At
it'd be
least get
something
the
interesting, I think.
yeah. I mean, at least it'll man.
And
At
it would
least
shut everybody up because he would not do well, and then everyone could just be like,
he can
"Okay, this
run.
guy's
Yeah,
not."
and yeah. Why not? I mean, look, why not? Because if
Bring
he's
back
not,
the bring back the Miami Dolphins Wildcat of the mid 2000s.
yeah. I
You know,
mean,
like the
if
Ronnie Brown 2005 Dolphins or whatever year that was.
yeah, I mean, and if he, like you said, like if he's not good, then you can just keep being this whatever you are, your tight end, running back / whatever player, and then you're not a quarterback because he still thinks he's a QB. And I know he tells or he in interviews he says he wants to be a quarterback. So at least it would be interesting. But
Yeah, so did
man,
Tim Tebow.
yeah, Winston, I don't know, man. We'll see what he does. But Sean Payton might have be pulling some hair out because this guy. And the thing is, I mean, Winston can't run. I mean, he's like the slowest guy you've ever seen in your life. And I don't know. He just throws the ball all over the field. But at least he has guys. I don't know. At least he has Michael Thomas. So we'll see if he can
He ain't
get
looking
something
good
go
either.
with him. Yeah, he doesn't look too hot either. But we'll see, man. Maybe they
All
can
right.
get on track.
Sunday night game, the Ravens lost to the Patriots 23-17. Ooh, well, alrighty then, I guess. Lamar Jackson finally had a decent quarterback day with 249 yards passing, 2 touchdowns, and 1 pick on 34 attempts to 10 different receivers. So personally, I liked seeing that from a throwing standpoint. But unfortunately for fantasy owners, a big chunk of that went to Willie Snead, who had 5 catches for 64 yards and both of the touchdowns. So that was a whole lot of wasted points. Mark Andrews finally ended his 3-game stretch of scoring less than 6 points. 6.5 points with a 7 catch for 61-yard performance. Lamar Jackson also led the Ravens with 55 yards rushing, but that is normal because they have to divvy up carries between 3 rushers, and no one ever gets more than 35 yards. I don't know why they do this. But also Marquise Dumpsterwood Brown, you can't call him Hollywood anymore. I'm calling him Dumpsterwood, was 2 catches for 14 yards. Dude, is he droppable? I think he's droppable. You can't start this guy. He's only been in double digits 3 times all year, and it hasn't happened since week 5. Now, the Patriots, they didn't even look all that great. Cam Newton was 13 for 17, which is, I mean, only 4 incompletions, but he only threw to 17 passes, 118 yards, 1 touchdown. Again, Cam Newton gets you a rushing touchdown. Now, Damian Harris, he did look good, 22 rushes for 121, and only 1 wide receiver caught a pass. Has that ever happened in NFL history where a team has 1 wide receiver catch a pass? Jacoby Myers went 5 for 59, and Jacoby Myers threw a touchdown pass to Rex Burkhead, and Burkhead was also the recipient of Cam's touchdown pass. So Burkhead, again, annoying fantasy owners everywhere unless you were one of 6 people out there who did start him. Jakob Johnson, Ryan Izzo, and James White were the only other guys to catch anything through the air. Such a weird way to play football in the NFL, but you won.
Yeah, I mean, the Patriots won. Old Belichick finds a way to win. And, I mean, to me, I mean, at this point, I don't think the Ravens have no chance of winning their division. This is the game I thought they had to win. I know it wasn't a division game, but still, I mean, they got beat up by Baltimore. They got beat up by Pittsburgh. They're 9-0. Baltimore just doesn't look good, man. I don't know. You can't go out there and lose this game to the Pats. And I mean, I know the weather was bad in this game as well, but still, everybody's got to play in it. And
all those Lamar Jackson truthers are like, yeah, he's done. We're winning games. Well, now what do you got to say?
Yeah, now they're not. So, what's the deal? And then he's coming out and saying, wow, teams know what plays we're going to run and this and that, and everybody they're calling out the plays and everything and this and that. But
that's coaching, right? That's on your coach's end. You got to get that taken care of.
Yeah, I mean, you can't
Or
be saying
audible. Change the play.
Yeah, last time I thought you could change the play. So I mean, there's a way if somebody calls out your play, you can kind of get out of that play and run something else. So I didn't know. Maybe he doesn't have that authority. I don't know. We'll have to see. But man, I'm not too high on the Ravens right now. They don't look too hot, man. And like you said, Damian Harris to me was one of the better players on the field this week, which means he'll probably have 5 carries next week.
For sure. For sure. Yep.
Yeah, that's just how Belichick rolls. I mean, he's like, they don't ever, when's the last time they've had like Corey Dillon or something like that? It's probably like their last good running back.
Going to be a big Jakob Johnson game.
Yeah, or Sonny Michel will come back soon and have like 150 yards in a game, and everybody will forget about Damian Harris or something. So,
and then he'll have another big game.
Yeah, and Mark Andrews, I mean, he did pretty good. I mean, 7 for 61. That's a step up of what he's been doing the last few weeks. So,
is Dumpster Wood Brown droppable? If you have Dumpster Wood Brown on your team, can you just drop him?
Yeah, I would. I mean, I couldn't start him. I mean, he just hasn't showed. You know, he's a big play kid. He's a big play guy. So, and they're not there this year. So, yeah.
Before your trade deadline runs out, try to trade him to the Ravens fan in your league.
Yeah, for sure. Because I don't. Yeah, I mean, either that or you'll be picking him up on your waiver wire. Because I wouldn't be starting him for sure. But
gotcha.
Man, it's tough. Lamar, I don't know, man. He needs to pull it together. I think it's more mental this year. I mean, he's coming out with all this other. With the teams are calling out the plays, and the Chiefs are our kryptonite and this and that. I mean, maybe he's in his own head. I don't know, but
Tennessee Titans coming up, so we'll see. That defense is not good, so we'll see how he does.
We'll see what they do, but they need to put it together because I mean they look pretty putrid the last couple of weeks, man. I don't know. Nobody's really scared of them anymore. I don't think so. We'll see what happens.
All right, Monday nighter, last one, Vikings and Bears. Now, very doubtful you started Kirk Cousins, but he did okay, 292, 2 touchdowns, and a pick. The Monsters of the Midway really stepped up big time for all intents and purposes and shut down kind of the best running back in the NFL for the last several weeks in Dalvin Cook. He only had 96 yards on 30 carries. So, yeah, he almost had 100 yards, and I get it, but it was on 30 carries.
Yeah, he should have 100 yards. 30
right.
carries, so.
Especially with how great Cook's been. He did get 4 catches for 16 yards. But look, I mean, Dalvin, was it 9 yards a carry last game or something? He's averaging, they kept him to 3. So good for you guys. Justin Jefferson continued to show why he is, and we've been talking him up about how he is one of the best rookie wide receivers in the entire NFL. 8 catches for 135. And if you watch him run his routes, he doesn't look like a rookie. He runs great routes. And as a perfect moment, he ran a little comeback route to the outside. And I want to say it was like the third or fourth quarter. And a lot of times, guys, even veteran guys will turn around and they'll wait for that ball to get there. And by then the defender comes up, knocks it down, sometimes even picks it off. But he makes his break and he starts his comeback and he keeps bringing it back towards the quarterback. And he's able to make that catch. And it's good for the receiver. It's good for the quarterback. Helps everybody out. And that's how you're supposed to do it. And he's doing it already as a rookie. I'm pretty sure he's on pace to break OBJ's rookie record of 100-yard performances. I think the record is 8. And Justin Jefferson already has 4 or 5 with basically half a season to go. So he could end up breaking that NFL record if he keeps up this good work. Adam Thielen, he did steal all of the touchdowns. He only caught 4 balls, but 2 of them, he was in the end zone for. Nick Foles, a whopping 106 yards passing before getting hurt. I think his tailbone pad might have slipped out of the way a little bit, and he hurt his little butt. But Cordero Patterson, he was a lead ball carrier for the Chicago Bears. He had 30 yards on 12 carries. Allen Robinson, 6 for 43. Somehow he miraculously gets double digits in a PPR because no one else did anything at all. The Bears' defense and special team keeps them in the games. But this offense might be the worst in football. I mean, Minnesota had 250 more total yards. This might be the worst offense I've seen in a long time. The Jets, I would rather have the Jets offense than the Bears offense. Think about that.
Yeah, I mean, shoot. Yeah, they're close. I mean, when you think about it, I mean.
Just offense. I don't want the Jets defense.
No. Yeah, I'll take.
Just offense?
Shoot. Yeah, I'll take them probably. They got more.
Flacco can't be worse than Foles. The Jets at least have a young running back in LaMichael Pirine. And their receivers, they got Crowder, they got Denzel Mims, who's looking okay, and Brashad Perriman. All the Bears have is Allen Robinson.
What do you think about Allen Robinson moving forward, fantasy? I mean, 6 for 43, but with Foles back there, then God knows who they're going to start next week if he's hurt.
He did it with Trubisky, and he did it with Foles. Now, if it's Tyler Bray, then no. But if it's Foles again or they bring Trubisky back, then you got to keep rolling with him.
Yeah, I
I
guess
don't
you
know how he
have
gets
to.
it done, but he does. I mean, he's not going to be a wide receiver 1 for you, but surely you
You got to put him in. Yeah,
in your
keep him in.
flex at least.
Mm-hmm. And old Kirk Cousins wins his first primetime game. I think he was
So excited. He
I
was
think
so
he
pumped.
was. I think he was 0-9. I think on
He
like
was.
Sunday
Yeah.
night and Monday night games or something like that. So he gets his. He gets one on the board for primetime games, and
He was
man,
so pumped about it.
yeah, I guess he was probably in the locker room screaming at everybody or whatever he always says. But yeah, I mean Cook, I thought I don't know. You would think he could do more with 30 carries, but I mean,
I'm glad he didn't.
yeah, I was going
I
to say
needed that win.
I was going to say if he had 98 yards, you might have lost your game. So I guess you're glad with 9. You're good with 96, but
Right.
yeah, I mean, dude, not much to say about the Bears. Look, their defense is good, like you said. The offense is absolutely terrible. And the Vikings, man, I don't know. Like I said last week, Vikings are going to make the playoffs, so I'm going to keep rolling with it, man. They're going to put it together, I think, and I don't know. They'll make one of those wild card slots, I think. So roll with the Vikings. Roll with the Vikings. Dalvin Cook doesn't get hurt, obviously, but
Right. But they still have a passing game if they need it.
yeah, man, Jefferson, like you said, I mean, that kid's that kid's a stud, dude. Jefferson's awesome, and Thielen had a good whatever. I mean, he scores his touchdown, so 4 catches and 2 touchdowns. So I guess you'll take that if obviously if you're starting Thielen. So, but Jefferson just looks like another. I mean, he's just like another. I don't know. He just seems like he's going to be one of the best, for the next 7 or 8 years. You know what I'm saying? He just has that look, and he plays that game like you said, runs those routes, and I don't know. There's not really a route he can't run, and that was his big thing coming out of college. People, teams were saying that he can only, come out of the slot and this and that, but I mean, he lines up in the slot on the outside and
everywhere
and gets it done. Makes big plays. Man, he just catches the ball, and I mean, he's good. He's for sure, man. I don't know how some teams passed up on him, but I'm sure the Vikings are obviously glad they got him.
Oh yeah. All right, man. That's it.
That's it.
Recap is finished. So that's all you got, man. Tell everybody where to find us and get us out of here.
All right. Let's see. Obviously, you can find us on Facebook. We post a video every Wednesday, usually before in the morning time or before lunch at least. You'll find us on Facebook. You can find us on Pandora. You can find us on Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, Spotify, YouTube video. You post them up on YouTube. So yeah, man.
Like and subscribe to all of them.
Yeah, we need more people to subscribe. All you gotta do is search us on any kind of platform, B&B's Football Happy Hour. It'll come up. So it'll be the same picture as our Facebook page. Yeah, that's how you find us. Give us a review and give us a follow. So
yeah, if you got any questions or anything, let us know. Hit us up on Facebook. We'll answer all of your fantasy football needs.
Yeah, we'll try to answer all the questions. I know we usually get a lot of stuff in on Sundays, so keep it coming. Keep all the questions coming. I know everybody kind of likes to post on there, who to start, this or that or whatnot. So that's always fun to do on Sunday mornings. So yeah, everybody keep that up, and we'll keep rolling with it.
All right, buddy. Hey, you all are great out there. Thanks for tuning in once again, and we'll see you in a week.
All right. Talk to you next week.
See ya.